Good morning. All right, I'm actually clearly feeling a lot better than I have been feeling these past few days. But have any of you seen this show, Killer Clowns from Outer Space? I haven't watched it. I watched a bit of it with my husband, and it's like a really good, like campy B horror. I love it. And this is a thrift store found mug that we both appreciate. I had different intentions for what video I wanted to release today, but that project is taking a bit longer than I had anticipated. I figured why not do a sit down while I crochet and update you about my pregnancy, because that's kind of long overdue. The project I'm going to be working on while we talk is my mood blanket. I decided the week of when I reached viability for this pregnancy that I wanted, so that's 24 weeks, that I wanted to start a mood blanket. So pretty much it's like a temperature blanket, but essentially what every day I write down my general, like my most predominant emotion that I had for that day, and it's color coded, and it's like a blanket that I could do for the rest of the year was the initial plan. But it is, because of the stitch I chose, which is a basket stitch, it may be a lot bigger than I anticipated. It's also a lot wider than I anticipated because I decided to do like 321 stitches across, which is pretty good for a king size blanket, which I don't mind, but it just means it's gonna take longer. What I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna work on my mood blanket, and every week or every other week or so I'm gonna update you guys on my pregnancy while I work on this. So I was gonna do this till the end of the year, but depending on how long it gets, because this is 1 week plus 1 day so far, so depending on how long it gets, I'm probably gonna stop when it's his due date, which is in June. But we'll see how long that the blanket gets by then. I turn over on Mondays according to my doctor, and I'll be 26 weeks on Monday, which is exciting. For those who don't know, this is my rainbow baby. My husband and I unfortunately lost our son at 22 weeks last June. And it's kind of interesting now being due in June again. It's been a really hard pregnancy to be in because it's been so, like, anybody that has known anybody that has lost a child before has had a miscarriage. He was actually born alive and then died a few hours later. And there was no medical intervention because he was not yet at viability week, and that was the choice of the doctor there. So yeah, this pregnancy has been really difficult just to be emotionally and mentally, like just to start. So I usually have really rough pregnancies. This is my third pregnancy. I have a daughter, and I've been pregnant for 3 years, pretty much back to back. With my son that we lost, we got pregnant with him 4 months after delivering my daughter, and then we lost him at 22 weeks, and then we got pregnant 2 months after that. So it's been a long time of a lot of pregnancies. I guess I haven't really updated since I've been pregnant, and this pregnancy started off with a lot of drama. It was not a planned pregnancy, and it was really hard to find out that we were pregnant again, and because we were still coping, it was just 2 months after, we were still coping with the loss of our son. and we are still coping with the loss of our son. This is going to be another boy, so there's also like things attached to that. So in the first trimester, it was really hard. I get sick really quickly. I usually can't work during pregnancy, so I had to stop work. I get really dizzy, and lightheaded. I usually have really bad nausea, and luckily, once I came out the first trimester, for the first time in my 2 pregnancies, I was not puking. Like with my first, I was puking. I puked and then I ate. Like I knew that I had to give a quarter up to the fertility gods before I could actually have food and sustenance. And with my son, I couldn't eat. Like I was puking blood. It was that bad. I had nothing in my stomach. It was like my throat was bleeding from it. It was really bad. And I had to be on nausea medication. But for this one, luckily, once I got out of the first trimester, I haven't experienced nausea nearly as bad as I did with my first 2. And then at some point in the first trimester, it was going good. We went on that trip that I went with my family. It was a really nice trip. It was really good to take my mind off of everything that was happening at the time and being pregnant and being scared of being pregnant. And then one night I got up to go to the bathroom to pee, and there was a ton of blood just running down my leg, and I was like, okay. Okay. And we went to the ER. We were sure I was miscarrying, like pretty sure this was a miscarriage, this was the end of the pregnancy, and we were already in like coping mode from Kenny, from my son, that we went straight back into that coping. Like it was just like, okay, this is how we're gonna move on, this is what we're gonna do, this is what the plans are gonna be. Like we started planning. We were sitting there, we hadn't even seen a doctor yet, we had just been checked in, and we were already planning, okay, how are we going to move on from this? Yeah. And then the doctor came in and was like, well, your baby's fine. And we were like, huh? Excuse me? What baby? Because I had passed like a huge clot and I was losing a lot of blood just sitting there. And apparently, baby was just fine, chilling. My body just likes giving me heart attacks. And turns out I actually had a, what do you call it? A growth. I'll put the name for it, in my ovaries, and the mass is what my body was releasing. It was releasing some of it, and that's where the blood came from. And I have had a history of subchorionic hematomas on my placenta. So I thought that was another one, and that was a huge reason as to why we lost our son. My placenta was bleeding and it eventually detached. My daughter, I had that too, and she came to fruition and she's fine. She's like gonna turn 2 in August. So now it was like, but you know, after you have a loss, everything scares you. And here we are bleeding out again. But now we're being told it has nothing to do with the baby, it has to do with the mass growing on my ovary. So we were sent home, and somehow that was the last time I ever bled. I have not bled since, and I'm very thankful for that. I am accustomed to bleeding throughout my pregnancies because of the subchorionic hematoma, but I have been lucky enough this pregnancy to not have to deal with the trauma of seeing blood like that, because it is still something that's very traumatizing to me. I hope me looking down while I'm crocheting is not annoying. Just kind of have to look ever so often to see what I'm doing. So, okay, first traumatic experience of the pregnancy. That did not help set the mood for how my anxiety has been this pregnancy. I was doing therapy before I found out I was pregnant again, and it has been extremely helpful throughout this pregnancy to be in therapy. It's a lot to deal with. And I'm just really happy that I had that. To stop working, which always breaks my heart, I've had to stop working for 9 months every pregnancy, and I've been pregnant 3 times in 3 years, and I am ready to be done with this chapter of my life, honestly. I love my kids and I don't regret my children at all. I just would like to, I was like, my career was at a point where it was going really well. For those who don't know, I do costume design, and I felt very confident where I was, and with all these pregnancies back to back, it has slowed me down significantly. At least I feel that way. I've always been able to bounce back and then get pregnant again. And I know you guys might be like, well, get on birth control, woman. Okay, hear me out. The second time I got pregnant, I was not on birth control. That was totally on us. This third time though, I was on birth control. I was on an IUD, the copper IUD, and I still got pregnant. So sometimes when life wants you to have a thing, it makes sure you have that thing. This time around we're gonna take more drastic measures to make sure that doesn't happen again, because we were happy to be one and done, and then we got pregnant with our son and we lost him, and then I got pregnant again after that. So and we did take like measures to prevent it, and it still happened. So we are ready to, like, God willing, our kid comes into this world and is alive and healthy and safe, and then we can move on with our lives. I'm ready. We're both ready to focus on other things and move on as a family. We're definitely done in terms of how many kids we would like to have. What else can I tell you about my pregnancy so far? Let's see. Symptoms. I have been feeling really dizzy. That has been something interesting to deal with. And that paired with pelvic pain. I don't know what it is about my pelvic setup, but I have always had very early pelvic pain with every pregnancy. My hips loosen so quickly. Being past viability has made me feel a lot safer. Just knowing that if he were to come early, there would be some attempt to save his life. This is one of my better pregnancies. I usually am a mess, like I said before, and I'm really happy that I've made it this far. 26 weeks tomorrow, and I am really excited about that. So this is how far I've gotten. So far, while talking, it's like 21 minutes. I still have like all of last week to do, so like this amount, but I'll get to that eventually. I'm trying to do this project like in between my other projects. I also decided actually for this blanket that I'm going to, on the days that were significant and special, I'm going to mark it. So for the orange was clearly a very happy day. It was viability, the day that I became viable, and I think I'm gonna do like a little crochet tag. I haven't figured out what I'm doing yet for that. But maybe when I figure out what I want to do to mark here, I will put it in the next update video, or maybe even this video. We'll see what I did to mark viability of my rainbow baby. But this is what it looks like so far. I'm actually really excited about it, and I really love the colors that I chose. Maybe I should list all the colors. Do I know them right now? Absolutely not. But anyway, I think that's the end of this video. Hopefully it wasn't too long or too boring. Tell me if you guys would like more videos like this, me crocheting while updating you about my pregnancy. The other videos will be way more detail oriented because I would remember more, because it won't be 26 weeks of information. Feel free to ask any questions that you may have down below. And yeah, thanks for watching. This is my belly. So this is my belly. One day before 26 weeks. I can't button my